Where Capricorn puts the focus on government itself, which is why the last 3 years have featured such urgent questions about the way government works and who it benefits and who it hurts, but also the matter of oppressive and/or ignorant world leaders, as well as world economics. We could also add class warfare, since Capricorn connects to status, and that is ultimately what class battles are about. Now, with Aquarius, we move into a different realm, the place of cutting-edge technologies and ideas, as well as all things scientific and electronic. It is also the sign of community and therefore of groups, which immediately links it to democracy itself. When you join community to electronics, you get the internet. In yet another curiously accurate astrological coincidence, we see the emergence of the internet in the early 90s when Saturn was last in Aquarius. It was then that the World Wide Web, with its hyperlinks, was created, paving the way for massive expansion into the world community of computers by the mid-1990s. Looking back to the early to mid-1960s, the previous Saturn in Aquarius shows us that it was then that the first initiatives to network computers were successful. First, you get them to talk to one another in the same room or the same building, and then 30 years later, knowledge and technology had progressed to the point you could spread it throughout the entire planet. Of course, we do have to add that when it comes to planets, the more the merrier, or as can be the case for 2020, the more the sorrier. And you can see the power of Aquarius magnified in the mid-90s because Uranus, a natural ruler of Aquarius, entered its own sign in 1996, and this gave an enormous boost to the spread of the internet. Then, 2 or so years later, Neptune also entered Aquarius to add even more popularity to this new invisible highway everyone now wanted to be driving on. Uranus remained in Aquarius until 2004, which made for 7 years of pure technological expansion, but Neptune remained in Aquarius until 2012. So all in all, what started in seed form in 1991 blooms into a world phenomenon by the mid-1990s and then gets massively popularized and integrated for another 15 plus years, making sure that it is now as commonplace as the house phone once was. I'm going to guess that with Saturn in Aquarius for the next 2+ years, there will be a review and reassessment of the internet and what is good and bad about it. Saturn is the most practical of influences. Literally, nothing tangible happens without it. In fact, in an individual's chart, it's like their own personal life clock. Wherever it's transiting in their chart, it's what they're working on, trying to make real. But just as work requires a kind of restriction in order to accomplish it, meaning you apply yourself such that you reduce, or even better, exclude extraneous activities, Saturn can decide that something within an activity needs to be reduced in some way, if it is established that it would therefore work better. Saturn already spent the spring of 2020 in Aquarius, and this is why during this year we've heard so much about the dangers of Facebook, Twitter, and other online sites, because they allow misinformation to flow too freely. Now, of course, part of the massive spread can be blamed on Neptune's Aquarius period from 1998 to 2012, since Neptune on the downside is perfect for promoting untruth, and once it reached its own favorite sign, Pisces, in 2012, this tendency really ramped up so that by 2020, as we all know, it is absolutely nuts. So, don't be surprised if you see the powers that be seek to put the brakes on all the information, really disinformation, wildness over the next couple of years. A probable clue that this is coming can be gleaned from a look at Mark Zuckerberg's chart. I won't go into a lot of detail here, but I'll just say that 6 planets in Taurus Scorpio with Saturn going into Aquarius to square is a pretty strong signal that the restraints are coming.